All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for attending our webinar today on 3 tips on how to recruit the vaunted generation of millennials. Such a hot topic that we're going to get into today. But my name is Kyle Cheslock. I am the VP of Sales here at the Lead Tool. I also happen to be a millennial, so I know a thing or two about how to attract these guys, having worked in a largely dominated millennial driven company and managed and recruited tens of them as well. So we're going to give it a couple of more minutes here for people that are going to be logging on. But at the end of our webinar, we will be distributing this webinar to you guys via email. So feel free to share it with your team if you have somebody that wasn't able to attend today, or have a colleague in the industry that you feel like would be able to learn a thing or two or pick up some things that are also targeting millennials here today. We are also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all at the Lead Tool. We post the webinar in there as well as a lot of other content that is available for you guys today. These are all free webinars, so hopefully, we try to do these to deliver some content material to your hands that'll hopefully help you guys in your business. So, wait on a couple more people here. If anybody has any questions at any point in time, feel free to chat into us on your webinar link there. I will answer probably quite a few of those questions as we go along through here, but at the end of the time, I have reserved some time for some Q&A if there are, any questions that I have not answered. So there's no such thing as a dumb question, so feel free to ask anything under the roof via the question there in your webinar link, and I'll get it answered for you. So with that being said, it looks like we got enough people in here and a good crowd to get going. Like I said, for those of you joining us, we will be redistributing this webinar at the close of our demonstration today. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Who is a millennial? According to Pew Research, millennials were born between 1981 to 1997. Depending on what you look at, people generally say, early 80s to, 2000 at the latest for the generation of millennials. They overtook, actually, Gen X in 2015 as the largest generation in the labor force. And by 2025, it's going to make up 75% of the force. So, regardless of where you're at today, you may not feel it, you may not experience it, you may not see it. Retailers are largely marketing towards and attracting the millennial generation. So if you don't have a plan in place today, hopefully you guys take away a couple things and put it in place. People like to buy from people that are like them. So, with that being said, obviously this is a lot of industry that comes with apprenticeship and things of that nature. But I definitely feel like there's some good things you're going to be able to take away from this. In particular, even who you're selling to is going to be millennials, having the last 4 years comprised the largest generation of home buyers, according to NAR as well. So not only are you going to be recruiting these individuals, but you're also going to be selling them to them as well. And like I said, if you don't feel it today, this is largely who you're going to be marketing to and who you are going to be attracting. So if you're not having a plan in place, it's never too late to start, but you definitely want to get on it sooner than later. With that in mind, what are the characteristics of a millennial outside of the young narcissistic group that everybody kind of talks about and smears within the news? But, contrary to what that actually is, it's a tech-savvy bunch of individuals. They never grew up with anything but a computer. They pretty much always had access to the internet. They get all their information from the internet, and they like to make those decisions on their own. With the advent of the cell phone or smartphone, if you will, in 2007, they pretty much have a phone attached to their hand, as we'll get into here in a little bit. But 80% of the generation actually owns a smartphone, so largely dominated by technology. The next item for a characteristic is their personal time. Back in the day, the Gen Xers and the baby boomers, they're all about work. They're all about putting in the time. They're all about, sacrificing and growing their career. And it's not to say that the millennials aren't, along that way either, but they value their flexible schedules and they value a better work-life balance. You know, if you take a look at any Millennials Facebook page, you're going to notice they do a lot of traveling. So they like experiences. They like a flexible schedule. They like better work-life balances. Now, obviously, in retail, the flexible schedule is a little more difficult to come by, but there are some things that you can do, and like I'll discuss here in a couple of minutes. But you know, a simple thing is having some music playing in the background while they're in the showroom or out on the yard, allowing them to listen to some music, things of that nature, having it going through the yard. You know, they like these little things like that to make them feel more comfortable in their setting. The next item is going to be achievements. They're very achievement oriented. They like goals. You know, this is a generation that grew up with, the most highly educated generation we've ever had, the most studied generation we've ever had. And it really comes back to their ambition. They aren't afraid to question authority, and it's not the rebellious kind of question, if you will. It's more along the lines of, why is it done this way when this may be a better way to do it? So they want to have input. They want to have a way to communicate with their superiors, and they're going to follow their superiors, and they'll put in the hard work and time. But at the end of the day, if they feel like something should be done a different way, or they don't quite understand why it's done this way, they're going to question it. Now, they also desire attention. I think this is something that everybody, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand. I mean, shoot, get on Facebook, Instagram, it's a selfie generation, if you will. They love attention, everything from constant feedback and communication with their superior. What are they doing well? What are they not doing well? How do they get better? Frequent praise. If they're crushing it this month, I don't want to, you don't have to give them a gold star, but a gift certificate to their favorite restaurant, or a nice pat on the back, or a company-wide communication that goes out celebrating who the top performers are. Different things like that may not have been a part of your DNA as a company before, that are really attractive to millennials in terms of just getting the attention or recognition, if you will, that they deserve. I mean, this is the generation that grew up with participation ribbons. So thank you, parents, for that. And that brings me to my first tip. Where are you going to find millennials to recruit? Back in the day, you might, hire a recruiting service, which, Benchmark, that's a great one. They do a great job. David Romano over there, good people. If this is something that's a little out of your, cup of tea in terms of how to recruit these individuals, and you want to get a good start, check out David. Good guy. Doesn't pay me anything for that. They just do a really good job. But if you do your own recruiting and you do your own searching, if you will, back in the day, you might post an ad in the newspaper, whatever it may be, for help wanted, or throw up a help wanted sign, wherever it may be. Millennials are on social media. They grew up with it. That's all they know. That's where their job seeking is done. 2/3 of them use social media to look for work. That's 66%, guys. That's a pretty good majority in terms of being able to identify and target who you guys want. LinkedIn in particular is where you want to be. It has 40% market share of all online job seekers. So if you guys aren't marketing, you guys aren't posting anything on LinkedIn, don't have a company page on LinkedIn that you regularly update. Same thing goes with Facebook, although as you can see, it's far less market share from what LinkedIn is. But nevertheless, you can't really pick and choose which one you're going to do. You really have to do all of them, and you really have to do all of them well. Your door, so to speak, is no longer on the old brick and mortar. It's online. So that even goes down to your websites, which I'll touch base on here in a couple of minutes. But post on LinkedIn, post on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all these different accounts. If you have a job posting, obviously all of them have a different way of format. Twitter's largely text based, Instagram, Facebook, a lot of pictures and video and different things of that nature. Boosted ads that you can do to really help yourself stand out, which I'll touch base, in a later tip to do that. But the key takeaway from this first tip is to get on social media if you're not already there. And it, like I said, it doesn't really apply to your marketing to customers, because I imagine a lot of you guys are already doing that. Translate that into recruiting as well. And just to give you an idea of kind of what that looks like over time here, from back in the 50s through the 60s, different mainframes in terms of how everything was computed. And there's an exponential growth curve in each one of these. And to demonstrate that, once you get into the 80s, early 90s, through 2000s and 2010s, look how fast that actually is, innovating. Back from having those desktops and those Windows, servers and things of that nature in the 90s, and boom, here we are in the early 2000s, and the advent of the cloud is already forming. That's back in the day too, when Amazon was, everybody was laughing about e-commerce, and nobody thought you put your banking, your credit card information online. And here we are today, and they have 53 cents of every dollar spent online. So, if you think it's innovating fast right now, imagine 10 years from now what it's going to look like. 10 years ago now, Facebook was in its infancy. The iPhone was just being created in 2007. So, with that in mind, social, getting on the internet, getting on the cloud, extremely important to attract these particular millennials. That brings me to my next tip here. Update your technology stack. There's nothing worse for you when you bring in a millennial and you have a computer from 1995 or software that looks like it's was developed on Windows 98 and it's a text-based format. That is going to turn them off so fast that they'll walk out of the door and you won't even have a shot at hiring them. Again, they grew up with cell phones, tablets, technology. They understand it. If you don't quite understand it, that's okay. Hire one to handle those decisions or handle those implementations, if you will, or put feedback and input when it comes down to it. But again, I mentioned it once already. Your door is no longer on your brick and mortar store. It used to be location, location, location. To an extent, that works, depending on what your market is. But when you want to go out there and attract this millennial, one of the first things they're going to do is check out your website, and they're going to do it from their mobile phone. 89% of job seekers use a mobile device to find a job, while 60% of internet browsing, all internet browsing, is now done on a mobile device. Let that sink in for a second. If you aren't updating your website, it still says 2010 on it. You got pictures on there that literally say 2012. Came across a website the other day that had that. If it looks like it was half-assed, if you will, wasn't professionally done, these are all characteristics and things that these millennials are going to take into consideration. And to you, it may not seem like a big deal, but to them, it is. They want to represent, if I could talk today, represent brands that they believe in. And if you got a website that isn't mobile responsive, that's not going to bode well for you. Same thing with, like I said already, the technology actually in the store. 80% of millennials own a smartphone. You can no longer have technology that's just a plug and play option that you bought 5 years ago that was cutting edge, because software improves and innovates at a speed that technology companies even have a hard time keeping up with in terms of what's available in their technology stack. And if you have a legacy vendor you've been with for 10 years, 15 years, I respect loyalty all day long. That's fantastic. But it's a what have you done for me lately atmosphere now in 2017. So if they're not innovating, if they're not updating their technology, if they're not producing features that, will help your people and attract millennials, then you need to take a step back, lift your head up out of your business for a second, and evaluate your technology stack from the top down. And if they keep telling you it's coming in 6 months, or it's coming in a year, or 6 months down the road and it's not there, a year down the road it's not there, you need to take that into consideration, because there's so many options out there no matter what you're looking for, whether it's an inventory software, a new POS, a CRM, digital contract, or accounting software, whatever it is, regardless if it's industry specific or not. Take a look at your stack, update it so you have the best tools available, and preferably choose somebody that has the cloud so they can deliver those features to you on a routine basis. Now this goes, with your current people as well. You should be customer focused, but at the end of the day, the pen and paper isn't going to cut it anymore. If you put a pen and paper in front of a millennial, they're not going to know what to do with it, or they're going to look at you with a head scratching face like, "What is this? You're telling me you don't have a digital contract. You tell me you don't have e-signatures. You tell me I don't have a CRM to manage my book of business. Whatever it may be." you're not going to be able to attract top tier talent unless you have those particular tools nowadays. So again, takeaway for tip number two, update your technology stack, get a mobile friendly website, invest in your company, and provide some modern tools and systems to help your people do their jobs better, and really create a wow factor for the millennials when they come in your door. And just to give you an idea, some of these modern technologies, you can connect all these. Modern technologies have what's called an API. It's just fancy tech talk for one system talking to another system. So you can really choose the best of breed of whatever fits your company. So if it's accounting, if it's CRM, if it's inventory, and it's spread out, and you feel like this technology is best for this function, you can choose that. And modern technologies will be able to talk to each other and allow you to do that. So again, there's a lot of information, a lot of technologies out there. You just got to look for it. Brings me to tip number three. Now, this is probably my favorite tip that you guys can take away today and actually implement. And it's promote your culture. Millennials love culture. Millennials love brands that they can get behind. For instance, Coca-Cola putting the name on every bottle. That's big. Millennials love that little personal touch. They cherish a team environment. We millennials grew up with a pat on the back. They grew up with group activities, playing team sports. They're involved in everything from your high school choir group to the baseball team to French club, whatever it may be. Hanging out with your little group of friends all the time. Things of that nature that allow them to really thrive is how you want to promote it. So whatever your culture is, whatever makes you unique, whatever makes you different, talk about it in the store, talk about it in your interview. When you're doing those social media ads, make sure to promote that. Take a picture of your culture, explain whatever your culture is, what makes you guys different. Why should they come work for ABC Foreign Company instead of Coca-Cola, or whatever it may be, whoever you're trying to recruit, whatever the demographic is. It goes beyond a paycheck for a lot of these individuals. For them, it's about figuring out what their why is and how you're going to help them achieve it. That's kind of how they look at any job opportunity that they go into. Obviously money is important, but it's not all about that to them. Again, coming back to the work-life balance, they want shared experiences. They want to make sure that their life has meaning, that their work has meaning. So the quicker you can figure out what their why is, what drives them, or even asking the question, because sometimes they just don't know. And then hoping them either figure that out, or if they do know what it is, helping them achieve that is going to go a long way in terms of reducing your churn with them as well. The next item is invite them to spend a day on site. So I love interacting, like I said, group activities, things of that nature. Bring them in there. Don't just do a 1 hour interview in an office. Let them interact with the floor. Let them talk to the employees. Let them shadow an interaction with the customer. Let them get a feel for what the day in, day out job responsibilities will be, and it will attract quite a few millennials in terms of bringing them into the business. If you're able to promote this culture of inclusion, if you will, it's going to go a long way with your social media content, your posts, all of the above to really get into that. So like I said, this is an easy one. There's nobody that knows your culture today better than you. So whatever that is, whatever that looks like, if it's a fun atmosphere, if it's a work hard, play hard, if it's a gorgeously designed showroom and your people are all fun loving and happy go lucky, whatever that is, get it out there, promote it. You can't do that enough, and it's really going to turn heads when it comes to millennials doing that. The biggest thing I can tell you, probably the biggest takeaway from all of this, and this is just a little sugar on top, if you will, you can't keep doing it the same way you've been doing it for the last 40 years and expect to attract the millennial generation. It's not going to cut it. They don't care that you guys have been around for 40 years. You guys have this great brand in the marketplace. They don't give a shit. What they care about is them. What they care about is what you can do for them. How are you going to help them achieve their goals? Why should they come work for you as opposed to another company that's going to do that? What's the atmosphere like in there for a work setting? They don't want to just plug in and check out. That's the biggest takeaway I can have. You can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. It's insanity. So, quick 3 tips there for you. Get in there. And one of my favorite quotes is by Steve Jobs. We live in a very on-demand economy. So, get rid of the crappy stuff and focus on the good stuff. You've obviously been around for a long time. You've obviously got some good stuff in there. Every now and then the company and the store just needs a refresher, a new layer of paint, if you will. So in with the good, out with the bad, update your stack. Hopefully we're able to take away a couple of things, today, a few short tips that you can implement right away that aren't hard to do. Like I said, feel free to follow us, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all at The Lead Tool. We do have a great blog, a lot of content. We post this webinar everywhere, as well as other content for you guys to check it out. If you have any questions, you can find us at theleadtool.com. I am going to check out our questions here, see if we got any. What type of music do millennials like? Good question. Chainsmokers. Can't go wrong with the Chainsmokers. With any kind of music that you have going on in there. They love those guys. Play it, repeat, and they'll be happy campers. Great question, though. Looks like that's about it. Like I said, guys, we'll be distributing this webinar at the end of our conversation today, so be on the lookout. Feel free to share it far and wide. Otherwise, absolutely thank you for taking some time out of your day to chat with us. Like I said, hopefully you got a couple of takeaways here. If anybody has any questions, you can email me, Kyle, Kyle, at the number 4megroup.com. Feel free to shoot me an email. I'll be more than happy to answer anything you have. We do these webinars every 2 weeks, so stay on the lookout for additional invites from there. Otherwise, hopefully you guys enjoyed your Memorial Day, and good luck getting back into the swing of things. Thanks, guys.